Hey guys, welcome back to Skies of Arcadia Legends. Last episode, we entered Yafutoman territory, but mostly just spent our time getting a buttload of discoveries. In this episode, we're actually going to go to Yafutoma proper. The water is so clear. It's beautiful. I wonder where we are. Huh? Wow, that ship, it's so huge. Are those Westerners? They dress funny. Hey, look, their hair isn't black. I wonder what they eat to make their hair that color. My hair is really going to stand out over here. Invaders, why have you come to Yafutoma? These lands are protected by Mount Kazai and the Blue Moon. Under the sovereign reign of Lord Mikado, invaders will be punished. Good Lord, I can't speak today. Yafutoma? This is really Yafutoma? Yes, you have invaded Yafutoman lands. We did it! We did it! We're in Yafutoma! Yeah! Well done, Vice. This will be recorded in the history books. I feel like they are being completely ignorant of the fact that the man keeps threatening to punish them. How dare you invade our lands! I shall strike you down where you stand. Wait! Don't attack them! Visitors, our primary responsibility is to defend Yafutoma. Please forgive our rush to arms. Lord Mikado has said that he would like to speak with you. Please, if you would come with me. Lord Mikado? I suppose that he's probably the king of these lands. We should follow him. So, you come from the land where the sun sets. Welcome to Yafutoma. My daughter, Moegi, has always been intrigued with the West. Haven't you, my dear? Yes, father. Please, I would love to hear all about your homeland. And if there is anything that we can do for you, just ask. Sure, but I don't want to be too much of a burden. King Mikado, as an advisor of the royal court, I must say that I am opposed to the idea of foreigners entering our lands. And this is Yangan. Foreigners have only brought us disaster. We must cleanse them from our lands immediately. What's funny is that I say Jafar jokingly. And while there is actually a Jafar in this Shahrazad story from which Aladdin is based, Aladdin is actually Chinese, though the villain is African. So, either way, this is just the joke kind of sticks, but also doesn't. I agree with my father. The Westerners can only bring us trouble. We should dispose of them at once. And I wonder if that's his son. They are our guests. We must welcome them. They can teach us a great deal about the West, and there is much we can teach them as well. But I would like to know why you have traveled to Yafutoma. We're searching for the moon crystals to prevent our enemies from using them to destroy the world. The blue crystal? I think you were referring to the jewel that has the powers of the blue moon. The object that you were searching for lies underneath Mount Kazai. Here in Yafutoma, we refer to that object as the Maga Sphere. Mount Kazai is considered by our people to be a holy mountain, and deep within the mountain lies an azure-colored jewel. Our ancestors passed the jewel to the successors of the throne. After the cataclysm, the jewel was sealed inside Mount Kazai. An azure-colored jewel? Vice, that has to be the moon crystal. At one time, Mount Kazai was a volcano, but there is no known way inside. The Maga Sphere has been lost since the days of the old world. If you were to retrieve it for us, we would be eternally grateful. So, the Manga Sphere is at the bottom of that huge mountain. Leave it to us. Don't worry, we'll get it back for you. Alright, and with that, but before we even bother with Mount Kazai, let's start exploring Yafutoma. Moonfish. Right there, right outside of King Mikado's residence. And I don't like this place as much as Nazrat, but it's still actually a nice little area. I will admit, you can get a little lost your first go-around, or not so much lost as confused as to how things work, but it's not really that bad, all things considered. It is certainly no Horteka when it comes to the directionally challenged. And there's a bit of a guest house, so it functions as a free inn. An amenity that will become more and more available as time goes on. Alright. And there's a lot of things we could do on Yafutoma as well. 2 crew members and 2 chests to be precise, as well as a few other things. Alright, here. Now we head down here, and there's this thing. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Alright. I personally like the looks tasty option, but I'm going to be fair with this, so 1 and 4 will be looks tasty, 2 and 5 will be kind of cute, 3 and 6 will be go away. Alexa, roll a dice.
I rolled a 6-sided die and hot. By the way, you have a new notification. Do you want to hear it?
No. What's with this bird? Go away! Shoo! 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 Go away! Shoo! Shoo! My goodness, it's mimicking you. Don't you go teaching it any naughty words now, Vice. Shoo! Shoo! Go away! Shoo! Shoo! I could tell it to learn that, no, I'll teach it to say, help, they've turned me into a parrot. Or just have it learn to identify statues of Wario and, Shrek, but always mispronounce Shrek for whatever reason. Alright, so first thing we want to do, actually, before we do that, ignore this bridge for the time being. Actually, no, the bridge is fine. I had to think about that for a minute. Longer than I reasonably should have. Alright, so we're going to take this little tub boat right here. And head over to this bridge right here. These are kind of supposed to be landing pads for the tub boats. That is the main gimmick of this general Yafutoma area. So, based on my research, this early discoveries of the Far East would have been around at least at the latest at the 1100s, which I think would have predated kind of the major piracy eras. Yeah. Actually, let's hold off on the tub boat for a minute, so we have one other thing we do. Namely, it was at least known that at least many important people knew of Genghis Khan, and for some reason, I'll have to check up with that tasting history with Max Miller. It might even date back as far as Alexander the Great, who had some awareness of Asia Major as a whole. which is kind of surprising in some way that it took our we really kind of got sea travel down pat not too much longer than long distance land travel, and well, you could even argue before, as evidenced by the Oregon Trail. So Asia Major wouldn't have been that big of a discovery. So Inca acting like the place is completely unfamiliar is a little timing-wise odd. This could arguably coincide with like the 1400s, give or take, if we're to compare it to real-world history. But I'm not exactly going to be judging this game on its accuracy. It is still a fantasy game after all. Alright, so that was the item store. I kind of just skipped by that, and obviously that little thing is a door that leads to our first treasure chest in the area that contains 3,000 gold. We want to particularly come to this weapon shop because this actually, not only does this have a helpful weapon, it has a weapon that is actually necessary to gain a crew member. One of the only ones that's like that. You want to buy the Swiran blade. Alright, here. And we're gonna sell. All right. Now what's funny is if you try to enter through the back door, you can't exit through it, but if you try to enter, he'll actually get mad at you. Alright, now we want to go back to the tugboat over here and get the second immediately accessible treasure chest in Yafutoma. And a moonberry. And how many of those do we have right now? Heck, as many, Alright, I want to get Fina's last move particularly because it is far and away the most useful healing move in the game. It is a move that actually would make something like the Ixanes demons ridiculously easy. Next thing you want to do is go down this particular waterfall. Go through, you want to land on this dock here. And you can't go into these two houses, there's nothing too fancy about them. I mean, get an idea of what the Yafutoman houses look like. Actually, people in them. Or no, this one has a bird. Food, food! Gotta love that, it's kind of funny. Got a little garden here. Vegetable that looks sort of like turnips that we grow back home. It looks weird that they've been cut in long thin strips though. Yeah, so it's kind of nice little personality details. Alright. Alright, and one of the two most useful crew members in the whole game. The other one is also here, conveniently enough. Oh, you must be the Westerners they're all talking about. I'm Kirella. I'm the best builder in the country. So what do you think about town? I bet you don't see such fine structures in your country. You're right about that. What a difference between seeing something and only hearing about it. You've really got a fine looking town here. You really think so? Well, it warms my heart to hear you say that. Say, maybe I should go back west with you and visit your country. I could probably show you Westerners a thing or two about what that would really amaze you. Hey, what are you going to do about this place then? It's still under construction. Not to worry, this is my own house. It was getting pretty old, so I decided to remodel. From the ground up. Well then, it's decided. I'll go back with you to your country and build all sorts of things for you. Incidentally, I have a little sister named Urala. You might want to give her a holler too. And admittedly, Urala is actually why I am holding on to the Romahai fish, and we'll be collecting more after I am done with Yafutoma. I will be maxing out that number. Alright, we're going to go up this little bucket elevator. And use this tub boat. And next off, we want to land at this little restaurant here. What's funny is we just got Robinson, a crew member who is dependent on us picking up a cook first. And now we're about to pick up a cook who is dependent on us getting another crew member first. Oh, please, come in. What can I get you? Looks like they have waitresses in Yafutoma, too. I'm sorry, I don't think we have anything like that on hand. You misunderstood. We're talking about you. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was what you wanted to order. Don't mention it. We're the ones who should apologize. We're in a bit of a rush right now. But we'll come back some other time, okay? Oh, alright. Thank you for coming in. Say, are you by any chance Kirala's little sister? Yes, I am. But why do you ask? I thought so. Actually, Kirala has decided to join the crew of our ship as a builder. We're wondering if you might be interested in joining our crew too. Me? But unlike my sister, I'm not good for much of anything besides cooking. A very good skill, mind you, but okay, just downplay it. Cooking is a perfectly fine skill to have. How would you like to join our crew as a cook? Sure, okay. If my sister's joining too. But are you sure I qualify for the job? Of course you do. You can make all kinds of tasty Yafutoma dishes. Well, I'll really do my best. Thank you so much. Maybe I should have tried to do my best impression of Stephanie Shea. I don't know. That would have been awfully. I don't think I could get my voice that high. And I am not going to disrespect Hinata like that by trying to emulate her. Alright, here. Come back to this landing dock over here. And now we've kind of done all the things we need to do in Yafutoma, but there's a few other things I want to handle here while we're here. Now we want to head here. And actually, hold on. I want to do one other thing, because I have a feeling I might have missed something back on the docks. I'm going to double check there, actually. Make sure I ain't hearing a cupel or the moonfish alert going on. Said I know in my first playthrough I missed a jam, so I'm checking everything. Alright. So go back in here. This is your ship part shop. I understand that you wish to go to Mount Kazai. Lord Mikado has commanded me to escort you. Before departing, would you like to buy some ship parts? Let me know when you are ready. We can start anytime you wish. I am going to buy two of the Yamato spirits, actually. A serpent torpedo. I am going to get the 5-foot cannon. And the 3-foot cannon, of which I am not going to equip. Finally, the last thing is the Yafutoma alcove, which is not needed, but it is helpful for the Vice the Extravagant rating. Sell a few things. Proceed to Mount Kazai. Then let's get going to Mount Kazai. I'll get the ship underway, so you guys can just sit back and take it easy. Oops, I almost forgot. If we're going to Mount Kazai, we better take this along. You receive the underwater suit. Deep inside Mount Kazai is a cavern, and in some places there will be water. This underwater suit should come in handy. What? We have to go underwater, but I can't swim! Do not worry. As long as you are using the underwater suit, you should be fine. You just be sure to breathe normally. Well then, shall we be going? Make way for Mount Kazai. Read back very briefly. Sorry about that, I had to make a quick trip over to the restroom. Wow! The water here is so calm, it looks like glass. It is glass. It's hard to imagine that this was a volcanic area covered in lava at one time. What is that thing? What? It looks like a huge bird. I'll take, what is a gigas for 400, Alex? That must be Blueheim. Blueheim? Yes, Blueheim was the blue gigas. It looks like Blueheim was trapped in the lava and encased in stone. If that thing ever got free, we'd be in trouble. The Gigas that you faced so far couldn't fly. I can't imagine how tough this one would be. We should secure the blue crystal as soon as we can. Let's go. Alright. As suggested. Alright. And this is a decent dungeon. Admittedly, it does one thing that most don't do too well, and that's incorporate a water temple well enough, and that's mostly because you're literally just walking. And there are no random encounters in the water-logged areas, though admittedly I wouldn't have minded if there was, just to see Vice fight in a scuba diving suit. That would have been funny. Everyone looks the same. Okay, so to give you the idea of the mechanic of this first half of the dungeon, what's this rock? It looks like some sort of switch. Alright. It looks like it triggered some sort of water release valve. Ah, I see. The switch is probably here to fill this area with water. So the name of the game is pretty simple. You just want to go across these, you want to get that as well as go across these 3 branching paths to fill the reservoir up with water to give you something to dive into so you don't break your legs. Alright. So these are krill beasts, the variants of the krillhound and the slithars. Obviously a variant of the salamanders. Everything here, there isn't anything, at least in this first half of the dungeon, that has too heavy of a health bar. So you can pretty reliably polish off most of everything with Lambda Burst and or Rain of Swords.
That was easy.
Alright, so this first one, as far as I know, there are no hidden moonfish or moonberries. What I believe you want to do... It's going to be a little trial and error, but I want to believe the one I want to land on is on the left side of this area. Okay, no, I got it wrong. No, wait, I didn't. Alright, so you go along this path, so yeah. It's kind of the middle left one, if that makes sense. All right. And unfortunately, even with the water portion of the water dungeon being made noticeably more bearable, you're still dealing with the sluggishness of water physics. I think I heard someone explain a pretty satisfying explanation as to why water dungeons usually are so rough, which is, if you want 2 examples of a good one, an example of a good one, the one in Zelda Skyward Sword is pretty solid, and that's because it tries to apply real-world physics to things with what might as well be metahumans. I think they're going to swim a little differently than we do. And I think they mentioned the one for Majora's Mask as well, where just Link's able to move so much faster in water than you normally would. Like I said, at least this is offset by the fact there's no danger in the water, exacerbating the sluggishness of the movement of whatever you're doing. I think I'm actually going to use Pyrum to try to clean out most of this enemy pool. Actually, blue is notably weak to yellow magic, so I'm going to probably start off by doing that. Alright. So we're gonna start working on our yellow magic. And there are very good reasons for this. Alright, next we go in this one. Alright. We're going to click this button at a very weird angle. And the water level will rise here. And admittedly, it is the drill line of spells I am trying to get down with yellow. Alright, and so one more fill up left, and then we're good. Alright. Okay, so yeah, there is a... These are mantoids. I don't think you saw it back in the value in the Moonstone Mines, but this is an evolution of the Serpentis from that. Oh no, Venus turned into an airplane. Alright. Now, I'm intentionally going to be pretty thorough with this area. I don't believe there is anything in the wrong path on this part, but I am going to be cautious just to be on the safe side. Rule number one. Rule of thumb of JRPGs. I'll let you in on those enemies a little bit later. I realize that's actually something relatively new. Alright. Department of Redundancy Department. Oh, wow. Enrique's Sleepy Sword came in real helpful. Alright. I'm going to give you 3 guesses of what's in this chest. What's going to happen when I open this chest. I'll give you a hint. Once I do, you won't need the other 2. You know, we're in this relatively undiscovered area. In a nigh impossible place to get. And the Nasser-based Civilian Bane tribe has somehow managed to worm its way here, too. I'm saying, like, some people might want to be contracting these guys out. Yes, we keep beating them, but they keep beating us to getting to places. They were in the Temple of Pier, which, okay, fair enough, it's based out of Nasser, that makes sense. But they clearly weren't in the Value in Grand Fortress to steal stuff, because they were imprisoned. He was trying to steal something out of it. Alright, but then again, there are people who probably managed to worm their way into the Value in Grand Fortress. They just can't get out alive. But, he was in the, like, this guy gets weirder and weirder. He was in the, Dark Rift, and you know what? He was in Rixus, too, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if they're just following us all the time, or if they're beating us, too, but yeah, I thought maybe I'd polish them off this go-round. Thankfully.
That was easy.
The Windsong Orb. Only reason I'm not... I actually probably could get away with speeding this up, and I might a little bit, just so you guys don't have to endure watching me go through this. Although, if you want to play it, you'll have to play at this speed, unless you're playing on Dolphin, in which case, have fun with the tab feature. Alright, I believe you want to hang a right first? Yeah. Okay, so there's nothing here. For some reason... Now, I do know there is one of these little cavern-based sections that they do actually encourage you to go out of your way and get a little lost. And there's our fourth and final switch.
Over there! Yeah.
Sorry about that, just kind of getting some lunch ready real quick. Alright. I'm just going to backtrack back to that central room. So... Alright, And ignore that moonfish sounding beep that will get addressed in a minute. I'm going to speed this fall up because it is a good long fall. Alright. And then we just want to go straight. Alright. And we want to climb up this rope right here. And there's our moonfish. Alright. Now we're going to go straight across here. Just keep taking this cave. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you want to go straight actually. I'm 100% certain of it. Or maybe I'm wrong on that. Okay, yes, this is the right direction. Alright, you open this chest, get another moonberry, and actually, how many do I have right now? 1. Alright, so I didn't get to show you these enemies earlier. There's viruses. They can explode on you, so just be careful. And there's a Cham. And just so everyone's full health. Alright. Alright, and you're going to have an encounter here. It's not random, it is actually a very intentional encounter. These are... once I can get to them. Aluspheres. They can inflict stones, so be mindful. Alright, there goes one.
That was easy.
Alright, now, if you want, you can make things difficult on yourself and go into the next room, and you will have to fight 4 sets of Aluspheres back to back to back. The simpler thing to do, click this switch. If I'm not mistaken. You want to head over to the right here and click this one. Alright, that's what I thought. That's pretty much it. Alright, just loop around here. Alright. Go through this door. You want to click the switch here, and you'll avoid the Alusphere encounters. I'm dropping moon robes like mad. Alright. Alright. And we're gonna go down this platform right here. And that is quite beautiful, I must admit. I do like this room. It is very pretty. And here we go. And I'll be honest, with the lack of urgency at which that boss was rising out of the water, there was no reason that Viscount just ran in and got the moon crystal. Alright, this is Tortigar. Now, he's actually, well, he's a noticeably less intimidating boss than you think, but he can be a little obnoxious to fight. So, he is your standard run-of-the-mill stall tactic boss, and there you go, Steel Skin. This makes him impervious, utterly and completely. Believe it or not, Eika actually has a special move. It would be the next one she called Botlick. That is exactly this thing. If you ever wanted to like save a status equip item, and it is called Epsilon Shield. All right. On top of that impervious Steel Skin move, it can use Sacralin, which can make this fight take a considerable amount of time. The only other things it does is it will cast Reverie spells, which can be easily addressed with Delta Shield, leaving its only real source of threat being its one-man attack. Beyond that, you are fighting what is, purely speaking, a battle of attrition. And there's its only really difficult attack, Ice Storm. It's basically like a no magic used Crystalline. And as you can see, really not much of a threat. If you were to ask me to point out the easiest in-game boss, there's one I have in mind, and it might surprise you, but this would be a close second. And there you go. At least it's wasting its Sacrament. I think you can only cast it about 2 or 3 times and then it'll stop. I'm not certain on that, though. Alright. So since I'm pretty much close enough to... Let's see if it uses Steel Skin. Can at least get a little bit of damage before the next turn. And since it is a blue... Yep, there we go. And I'm gonna smack this thing with prophecy. And it's pretty much your main strategy to use this thing. Just build up the prophecy so it cannot use skill to negate the damage. As you can see, it's a little on the robust side, but if you want to maybe exchange taking a little bit of damage at the trade-off of gathering spirit power faster, you can decide to opt out of Delta Shield. I believe it only does employ the Webland Liza spells, so it'll be pretty good there. And in fact, I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble. It is going to use Steel Skin. Nope. If it was, I wouldn't be able to get those focuses off. Oh, as long as it doesn't use Saccharin, we might have this. And there we go. It's not a hard boss, just requires some patience. Now I'll have to get the moon crystal. So, this is the blue crystal. We finally found it. It's so beautiful. Vice, that's another crystal. You know what that means? It's time to celebrate.
Yes.
Actually, let's include Fina on this one. What? But I don't know what to do. Oh, don't worry about it. Just give it a try. No, I like it. She adapted pretty quickly. You received the blue moon crystal. Much more quickly than I would in that scenario. Alright, now, I'm going to go ahead and, I think we found as good a stopping point as ever. The next episode, I'm going to go ahead and let you know, just, if you're going to play along, set aside a good chunk of time, because you're going to go a long time without being able to save. That said, I'll see you. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next episode.